Found out he's still sleeping with his baby mama. I'm done. Mark and I were talking about paint colors. Beige, mostly. Exciting, I know. But beige walls meant taking the leap, combining our lives, finally sharing a space after what felt like a lifetime of coordinating schedules and closet space. 18 months. It felt significant. Something neutral, I said, swirling my wine. Easy to live with. He laughed, that easy, rumbling sound that still made my stomach flip. Like you, then. Easy to live with. I playfully shoved him. Hey, I can be challenging. He caught my hand, kissed my fingertips. Never, you're perfect. Perfect. God, I hate that word. But in that moment, with the low light and the wine and the promise of matching beige walls, it felt right. Then there was Jessica, Mark's ex, mother of Liam, his 5-year-old son, a small whirlwind of energy who called me Sawa. I liked Liam. He was sweet, funny, and surprisingly insightful for a kindergartner. Jessica, though Jessica was a different story. Mark was always careful to paint her as just the mother of his child. Co-parenting, necessary communication, all very platonic, very functional. We're over, he'd said more than once. Completely. It's all about Liam, and I wanted to believe him. I did. But there were these little things. The way Jessica looked at him, that undercurrent of resentment and maybe something else. The frequency of their texts, always justified as Liam-related emergencies. And Mark's reaction whenever I brought her up, a quick defensiveness, a tight jaw, a rapid change of subject. That Saturday, Mark needed to pick Liam up from school, but his truck was in the shop. He asked to borrow my car. No problem, I thought. I trusted him. I really did. Sunday afternoon, I was cleaning out my car, wrappers, receipts, the usual chaos. And then I found it. Under the passenger seat, tucked into the crevice, was a condom wrapper. A Trojan ultra-thin, nothing remarkable except. It wasn't the brand I used. I preferred something textured. For him, of course. This brand, though, I recognized. Jessica had mentioned it once, ages ago, in that offhand, too casual way women sometimes talk about sex. Oh, I like those. They're the only ones that don't irritate me. My stomach dropped. A cold, heavy feeling settled in my chest. I stared at the wrapper, trying to rationalize it. Maybe it had been there for ages. Maybe it belonged to a previous passenger. Maybe I was being crazy, but I knew. Deep down, I knew. I called Emily, my best friend. She listened patiently, her voice calm and grounding. Okay, she said finally. Don't freak out. Not yet, but you need to find out what's going on. Subtly. No accusations, no drama. Just observe. Easier said than done. The next few weeks were a blur of anxiety and suspicion. I started paying attention to everything Mark did. The late-night phone calls he claimed were work-related. The hushed conversations he'd have when he thought I wasn't listening. The way he'd flinch when I casually mentioned Jessica's name. One evening, I asked him about his day. He said he'd been working late. Big deadline coming up, he explained, rubbing his temples. Rough one. Later that night, I was putting away his wallet when I found a credit card receipt. A restaurant receipt. A fancy Italian place Jessica absolutely loved. The date and time matched the night he supposedly worked late. Bella Not. The special place where they have candle-light dinners. The air left my lungs. I tried to talk to him. Mark, is everything okay? You seem distant. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. I'm just stressed, Sarah. Work is crazy right now. Can we not do this? Do what? Talk. He turned away, his voice sharp. You're being insecure. You're being jealous. It's not attractive. Gaslighting, that's what it was. He was making me feel like I was the crazy one. My anxiety was through the roof. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. My work suffered. I was a mess. I even considered installing a tracking app on his phone. God, I hated myself for even thinking about it. Emily kept telling me to trust my gut. But what if my gut was wrong? What if I was ruining something good based on a condom wrapper and a restaurant receipt? I was sitting at my desk at work, staring blankly at my computer screen when David, a coworker I was friendly with, stopped by. You okay, Sarah? You look like you've seen a ghost. I managed a weak smile. Just stressed. He hesitated, then said, look, I don't want to pry, but if you need to talk, I'm here. I'm a good listener. I almost broke down right there, but I held it together. Thanks, David. I appreciate that. I couldn't keep living like this. The uncertainty was killing me. I needed to know the truth one way or another. That night, I decided to confront him. I laid out all the evidence piece by piece. The condom wrapper, the restaurant receipt, the late night calls, the hushed conversations. He stared at me, his face pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me, Mark, I said, my voice trembling. Just tell me the truth. He denied it at first, denied everything, but I kept pushing, kept pressing. Finally, he cracked. Okay, fine, he yelled. Yes, I slept with her. Once. It just happened, I repeated, incredulous. It was a mistake, he pleaded. I was lonely. She came on to me. I swear it didn't mean anything. He blamed her. Of course he did. And you didn't think to tell me? I asked, tears streaming down my face. I was going to, I didn't want to hurt you. You think this doesn't hurt? I screamed. You think lying to me doesn't hurt? You've been lying to me for months. He reached for me, but I recoiled. Don't touch me. Please, Sarah, he begged. I love you. I swear it will never happen again. I'll do anything. The word felt hollow, meaningless. Suddenly, his phone rang. He glanced at the screen, his face turning even paler. It was Jessica. Before he could answer, I grabbed the phone and put it on speaker. Hey, babe, Jessica's voice chirped through the speaker. Are you bringing Liam over for dinner later? And did you remember to get that special wine I like? The blood drained from Mark's face. I hung up the phone. I didn't say a word. I just stared at him, my eyes filled with a mixture of fury and disgust. Get out, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Get the hell out of my apartment. He tried to argue, to apologize, to explain, but I wouldn't listen. I just kept pointing at the door until he finally left, defeated. I collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. The betrayal was a physical pain, a gaping hole in my chest. The next few days were a nightmare. Mark bombarded me with calls and texts, begging for forgiveness. He sent flowers, chocolates, a stupid teddy bear. I ignored them all. I told Emily what happened. She was furious. That son of a bitch, she yelled. I knew it, I freaking knew it. She came over and helped me pack Mark's things. We changed the locks. I felt a tiny bit better, but the ache in my chest remained. I needed to talk to someone who knew him, who knew the situation. I called his mother, Carol. I always liked Carol. She was kind, well-meaning, if a little clueless. Carol, it's Sarah, I said, my voice shaky. I need to tell you something about Mark. I explained everything, trying to remain as calm as possible. Carol was shocked. Oh, Sarah, honey, I am so sorry. I had no idea. But then she said something that made my blood run cold. I suspected something was going on. I talked to him about it a few months ago. He swore nothing was happening. But then there was Liam's birthday, and they ended up sleeping together for Liam's sake, and I knew it wasn't good. For Liam's sake, I repeated, stunned. What does that even mean? Oh, honey, I don't know, Carol said, her voice flustered. Men, they do such stupid things. The rabbit hole went deeper. I even spoke to Liam's babysitter, Maria. She mentioned casually that Jessica often stayed over at Mark's house after putting Liam to bed. They seem to be really getting along, she had said. She makes his coffee in the morning. She makes him cough and they get cuddly. So it wasn't just one time. It had been going on for months. I had been living a lie. I took a few days off work. I couldn't face anyone. I just stayed in my apartment, curtains drawn, wallowing in self-pity. Emily kept checking on me, bringing over food and forcing me to take walks. You need to get out of this funk, she said firmly. He's not worth it. You're better than this. Slowly, I started to feel something. Not better exactly, but stronger. Resilient. I had been hurt, betrayed, humiliated, but I wasn't broken. I went back to work. David was there waiting with a cup of coffee. He didn't say much, just offered a kind smile. It was enough. I sent Mark one final text message, we're done. Forever, don't contact me again, then I blocked his number. A few weeks later, I was walking in the park when I saw them. Mark, Liam, and Jessica. They were laughing, playing frisbee. Jessica looked smug, possessive. Mark looked miserable. For a moment, I felt a pang of sadness. A what if? A maybe I should have tried harder. But then I remembered the lies, the betrayal, the feeling of being constantly on edge. I shook my head and walked on. That evening, David asked me to dinner. Just as friends, he clarified. We went to a small Italian restaurant, not Bella Not. We talked for hours about everything and nothing. He made me laugh, genuinely laugh, for the first time in weeks. As he walked me back to my apartment, I felt a flicker of something, hopeful. Maybe, just maybe, there was life after Mark. I went up to my apartment and stood at my window, looking out at the city skyline. The lights twinkled like stars, each one representing a possibility. I had been hurt, but I was healing. I was stronger. I was wiser. I had chosen myself. And that, I realized, was the best choice I could have made.